Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got some done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe right before renewing the lease for this property.
Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was going to say, I am getting up there in age, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about why investing and understanding the financial markets is very important. Knowledge is absolutely power. You cannot just look at somebody buying real estate today and say they're dumb because they're buying properties at 7 and 6%, when in fact, they're probably not. And here's the thing. There are so many investment strategies out there to where you can buy properties and still get a 2.5% loan today. You see, when you read books, and this is both from Brandon Turner, Rental Property Investing, as well as Investing with Little to No Money Down by Brandon Turner, you start to understand that there are definitely multiple strategies that you can use in order to get things done. Now, there were two takeaways that I got from this book specifically, Investing with Little to No Money Down, which was the assumable loan as well as the 203K loan. Going over the assumable loan first, you obviously need to close the gap on that money. So we've talked about the assumable loan previously. You're basically assuming someone's mortgage. As it goes up in value, they're going to want you to pay the difference. So you have to pay the difference plus the closing costs. Let's just say the difference is $100,000. The closing cost is another $8,000. You need to come up with $100,008 in order to assume their loan that has a balance of about $300,000 remaining, and you get it at a 2.5% interest rate. All right. And so that takes a lot of cash on hand in order to assume certain properties and assume certain loans, but it's called an assumable loan for a reason. You're going to assume their debt. You have to pay the difference in the value of the home as it currently is. Absolutely love the assumable loans. I've tried to acquire a few myself. There are two ways to acquire an assumable loan. The properties that are assumable are typically going to be a FHA loan as well as a VA loan. All right, in order to have a VA loan, you must be a veteran or the spouse of a veteran. And for an FHA loan, it's typically just putting less than 5% down. You're typically going to be an FHA buyer. Now, not every FHA loan is assumable, but some are, and you can absolutely request an assumable loan when you negotiate with your lender. So even if you went conventional, there are ways where you could have said, hey, I want an assumable loan, and depending on your lender, you may have been able to get that. A lot of the times people will say it's absolutely not possible, but they absolutely just don't know who to go to. You see, because if you went to a local lender or if you went to a lender that really wanted your business, they can figure out ways to underwrite these loans in order to meet your needs and to give you exactly what you're looking for. So with that being said, we're going to move on to a 203K loan. All right, this is not something that I've tried myself. This is not something that I've even tried to acquire. There was only one property that I looked at doing a 203K loan with, and they were not willing to work with me. And so I said, you know what, I'm not going to do the undertaking on this because it is still risky. And that was back when interest rates were around 4%. So I was still on my high horse and willing to do that 203K loan. But essentially, 203K loans do have a higher interest rate because a 203K loan is basically a FHA loan where you don't put a lot of money down. The bank is actually going to give you some money in order to help you fix the home and the property in order to increase its value. So once you do that, obviously that's why they're paying a higher interest rate, because they believe that you're going to flip the home or at least refinance into a lower interest rate afterwards. And they would be absolutely right. Why else would you get a 203K loan? And so if you're going to sell the house, they want a lot of that interest up front Or if you're going to refinance the house, they still want a lot of that interest up front because there's no guarantee that you're going to refinance through them. And so when they're offering you a lot of money up front in order to fix the home, a 203K loan, they're typically going to also inspect your contractors and make sure that your contractors are reputable and also going to do a nice job. And as the contractor does work, the bank itself will pay that contractor in increments. All right. And so the 203K loan, when you're working with banks, they typically already have certain contractors that they can refer you to, which actually makes the process pretty streamlined and very, very easy. Now, if you have your own people that you work with, a 203K loan may be the best thing ever for you because you already have people who know how to maybe fix a roof or do a basement. And so you get to pay your own people to do work for you through the bank, and you get a cheap loan that is less than 10% or 9%. That is absolutely fantastic. You see, when you know people, you can absolutely do a great job because knowledge, again, is absolutely power. And so again, I want to preface that when you see people out here buying properties in this economy, yes, in this economy, don't just assume that they're buying these properties with 6 and 7% interest rates. That might not be the case. Now, there's another loan strategy that I'm not typically a fan of, but for the right person, it might be a feasible option. You see, a lot of people talk about getting away. I'm originally from New York City, and a lot of people talk about getting away. Maybe you want to get away to an extreme environment. Maybe you want to go to a rural environment. A rural just means there's not as many people, right? And so when you start to get away from that city life, there's a loan that you might be able to access, which is a USDA loan. And these USDA loans have good grants available to them. I've seen grants up to $20,000, $40,000. And these USDA loans, because they're in rural properties, a lot of these properties don't even cost $200,000. They cost like $140,000, maybe even less. So in order to get a $20,000 down payment on a rural property like that costs $140,000, you're essentially getting 10%, more than 10% equity in your home right away. That is insane. And as long as you live in that property for about 5 to 6 years, you can then sell and take all that equity with you. $20,000 in free cash is great to me. Now, the problem is when you want to sell, hopefully that area has increased its population quite drastically to where there are actually buyers that want the property, right? Because if you can't sell the property, you can't get the money outside of refinancing or cashing out of the home itself, right? And so if you have to make a credit line or something like that in order to get your money, that might not be the ideal situation for you. I know it's not for me, but it might be for someone who is just interested in getting their debt and maneuvering however they so choose. And so I just wanted to go over those few strategies with you. Obviously the USDA loan is not the only loan that offers grants and things of that nature. A lot of first-time home buyers are able, or I should say eligible, for different grant options. I, unfortunately, did not take advantage of a lot of these grants that I was able to get as a first-time home buyer, but I will ensure that my family members, when they do go to get their first property, do take advantage of those said grants. So if you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You know I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify for podcasters, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.